What's going on, YouTube? Alright, today I'm going to be showing off my entire collection. This is going to take a while because I got a lot of stuff, so I'm going to break this video up into three categories. First, I'll start with my baseball memorabilia, then I'll show off my boxing memorabilia, and then after that I'll show off the little bit of Rocky memorabilia I have. So sit back, relax, and enjoy. And we'll start off the baseball tour with some of these beautiful vintage baseball cards. You see, starting with the 33 Gowdy, then we go up into the 50s. Some amazing Hall of Famers and All-Stars of the day. And we get down into the 60s. And down through the 70s. This is a Chuck Klein card that was cut out of the back of a Wheaties box. Of course, my diminished capacity Wildfire Schulte card. A nice Frank Chance B18 blanket. Bill Dickey signed photograph. Cap signed by Al Kaline. That is a in-person signature. My 1995 Yankee Pog set that I had signed by Don Mattingly, Paul O'Neill, and Bernie Williams. Hop down here to this beautiful Rawlings bat signed by Dave Winfield, inscribed Hall of Fame 2001. Down to this, another gorgeous Rawlings bat, Harmon Killebrew signed, 573 home runs. And this Ernie Banks is another in-person signature. We got a Phil Rizzuto photograph signed. These are all in person right here. My 1978 Yankee schedule I had signed by Bucky Dent, Goose Gossage, and Ron Guidry. Another in person Whitey Ford signed photo with a Burke Ross Whitey Ford rookie card. And I had also had the pleasure of meeting Frank Robinson and had him sign that gorgeous display. Couple of awards owned by Hall of Famers. We have a plaque that was owned by Phil Rizzuto, and this one owned by the great Gary Carter. I still get chills when I look at this. This is a B18 blanket of Shoeless Joe Jackson, back when he was playing with Cleveland. It is really not easy to find Shoeless Joe Jackson pieces from his playing days, and this is a gorgeous one. Couple of nice vintage bottles I have. We have Babe Ruth, of course Ted Williams Creamy Root Beer, and I love this bat. This bat was game used by the great Rod Carew in a major league game, at least one that we know of, back in 1980. And you can even see where the crack occurred in the handle. Gorgeous piece. This was another in-person signature. Met Brooks Robinson and had him sign this old Brooks Robinson Kids Mitt. And over here, just a very rare oddball piece, I have this Joe DiMaggio Kids Beanie Cap from the 1940s. The Roger Maris action baseball game from 1962 with Mickey Mantle's big league baseball game from the 1950s. And of course, why not have a wiffle ball endorsed by Thurman Munson? And there are a lot of really cool pieces on this shelf. I'll kind of show them to you quickly. So we have a Waite Hoyt signed photo, a Monty Irvin signed card. We have this Perez Steel postcard from the Ted Williams collection. Here we have a Johnny Evers domino disc. Nice booklet, Bobby Thompson signature and jersey. And a Melot card from 1943. Cool Papa Bell Hall of Fame postcard. Unopened pack of 1951 Topps Redbacks. And another Perez Steel postcard, but this one from the Stan Musial collection. A couple of relic cards. Got a Roger Maris, Lou Gehrig, Rogers Hornsby, Thurman Munson. Over here we have a Joe DiMaggio golf ball from his personal collection. And that back there is a Ted Williams shotgun shell from Sears. This card was actually owned by Roberto Clemente from his personal collection. And while we're on that topic, this card was owned by the great Willie Mays. Beautiful thing. Back here we got a Pete Rose auto with a jersey piece, Hit King 4256. Casey Stengel's Hilton Hotel card from his personal collection. Guarantee you're never going to see something like that in another collection. This is cool. Clark Griffith. Look at that. Old Mill Cigarettes. Silks. This one is from the Lionel Carter collection. One of the OGs of the collecting world. This is a 1935 baseball scorer depicting Babe Ruth in his 1 year with the Boston Braves. And that back there is my watch fob from Morgan Bulkley, the first president of the National League. Chris Chambliss signed mini bat. Actually met him the same day I met Bucky Dent and Ron Guidry. Now this case I love. So let's start over here with a Hank Greenberg signed card. Up here we got a Charlie Root signature and Gowdy card. 1949 Bowman Yogi Berra. Nice triple folder. We have Fred Clark and Rob Byrne. And we got a 1948 Johnny Mize Bowman. Bob Feller signed ball with 56 Topps card. Nolan Ryan signed ball. We got balls like Duke Snyder, Phil Niekro, Mariano Rivera, Lou Brock, Don Larson. That was an in-person right there. Yogi Berra, the same. Ricky Henderson signed ball with a Ricky Henderson rookie. Jim Abbott, the only man with one hand to ever pitch a no-hitter. This ball is awesome. This ball is signed by Ted Williams, Joe McCarthy, Bobby Doerr, and Dom DiMaggio from the late 40s. This is my 1961 Yankees signed ball. I'll take this one out a little bit so you guys can see around. Really cool. The mantle is the only clubhouse signature on here. Everything else was actually signed by the players. But of course, nothing beats on a 61 ball the autograph of Roger Eugene Maris. Over here, Mickey Mantle signed ball. This one is signed by Eddie Matthews and Hank Aaron. I actually just picked that up recently. Willie Mays signed ball. And this is a really interesting piece too. It's not as cool as an autograph, but you can see it says Ty Cobb authentic handwriting. And it's actually a pretty good piece of advice. Hustle, be ambitious, and work hard. That's what Ty Cobb always did. And of course, my favorite signed ball, my Babe Ruth. Speaks for itself. Here's something you're probably not going to see too often in the sports memorabilia collection. How about an Atari game? Pete Rose Baseball. I mean, that's just a really cool piece. And while we're talking about something different, how about this vintage tennis racket with a sticker that says Ty Cobb. Yep, Ty Cobb endorsed this tennis racket. Over here we got a 1914 Crackerjack card of Hank Gowdy with a vintage Crackerjack box. A really cool piece. A pitching rubber signed by the 3 winning pitchers of the 1955 Brooklyn Dodgers, Clem Labine, Johnny Padres, and Roger Craig. We'll go into some of my nice displays now. We have Tris Speaker, the Gray Eagle, signed photo. Connie Mack, signed letter. The great Eddie Collins, handwritten letter on his personal letterhead. Double X, Jimmy Fox, signed program, also signed by Vince DiMaggio. The Rogers Hornsby, signed program with multiple other signatures. Here we go. Harry Wright, the godfather of professional baseball, personally filled out and initialed this scorecard. An amazing piece of history. Here we go. How about Wahoo Sam Crawford wrote this letter to a fan that was requesting autographs. You can't beat that. Beckett magazine from 1995, when Ripken broke Gehrig's record, got that signed in person. The legendary Satchel Paige signed Hall of Fame postcard. A check filled out and signed by the great Mickey Cochran. The first ever issue 1 Sports Illustrated with Eddie Matthews on the cover. 1882 Cossack & Co., the first baseman. Really cool vintage card. Coming up to one of my favorite displays. I'll run through them for you. We got a T206 John McGraw. Got an 1887 Ellen and Ginter Chaz Bennett. 1955 Golden Stamps Jackie Robinson. T206 Miller Huggins. Got that with my first trip to Cooperstown. T205 Hugh Duffy. Got this card my second trip to Cooperstown. England's Ice Cream, Tris Speaker. 1887 Tobin Lithograph, Mike King Kelly. 1919 to 21 Buck Weaver. Really great time to get that card. 58 Topps Mickey Mantle All-Star. 1933 Gaudy Lou Gehrig. 1936 Gaudy Premiums Joe DiMaggio. 33 Gaudy Rogers Hornsby. 58 Roger Maris rookie card. The first 5 inductees into the Baseball Hall of Fame. 33 Gaudy Babe Ruth. T206 Ty Cobb. Sweet Caparel pin of Christy Mathewson. 1914 Polo Grounds game, Honus Wagner. And 1927 Walter Johnson card. And of course, the greatest piece of my collection is the Honus Wagner my daughter painted for me. Thank you, baby. Derek Jeter game-worn batting glove. How cool is that? Speaking of Jeter, we have some of Jeter's rookie prospect cards. The Upper Deck Minor League. Got the 1993 Topps Gold. 1993 Upper Deck. And of course the 93 SP. A few autograph rookie cards. The rookies of Andre Dawson, Paul Molitor. We got Wade Boggs and Frank Thomas. There's some vintage autographs right here. Got Billy Martin, Leo the Lip DeRocher, Charlie Gehringer, and Carl Hubble. And these are from the 3,000 hit games for your favorite stars back in the day. We got Eddie Murray's 3,000th hit. We got Tony Gwynn's, Paul Molitor's, and Cal Ripken's. Of course, one of my favorite pieces is this vintage 1930s baseball exhibits vending machine. I mean, you really can't get much cooler than that. See, what's really cool about this is if I'm ever stuck at home and I'm bored and I'm like, man, I wish I could just go buy a vintage baseball card. I can just take a penny, put it right here, and buy myself a baseball card. It's that simple. 1939 Campus Yearbook. Someone you recognize. Jackie Robinson. And remember these? The old gold cards. Yep, the 1998 New York Yankees. The greatest team I'd ever seen in my lifetime. One of my prized possessions, my 1961 Topps complete set. Took me a few years to put this together, but it was well worth it because I love it. And this is the only vintage set that I ever started from scratch and completed. Beautiful thing. This wristwatch was personally owned and worn by the great Ted Williams, one of my favorite pieces of my collection. Everybody remembers this one, my Cy Young personally owned smoking pipe. This is a beautiful display, 12 Golden Glove winners. Now most of you probably won't recognize this guy, but this guy was an original New York Knickerbocker. And this is a check that he filled out and signed back in 1868. Really early baseball advertisements. These are from the early 1880s. These are baseball merchant comics. And this is a complete set of 5. Another name you may not recognize but holds a big place in baseball history is that of Walter Titus Avery. He was not only an original New York Knickerbocker, but this guy played in the first ever baseball game under the rules as we know it today, back in 1846. Can't get much further back in baseball history than that. And now we'll get into some of my boxing memorabilia. We'll start off with these 2 gloves. I met both these guys in person. That glove is signed by Sugar Ray Leonard. And this one is signed by Tommy the Hitman Hearns. Over here, this is pretty cool. 1948 Topps Magic photo of Ike Williams. Up here, have a Sam Langford. That is a beautiful card. As is this vintage Joe Jeanette, which I actually picked up recently. And a guy who I think is one of the greatest fighters of all time, but nobody ever talks about it anymore, is Henry Armstrong. Of course, we got the Cinderella Man, Jimmy Braddock. Jack Dempsey, signed photograph. This is really cool. John L. Sullivan and James J. Corbett, 2 legendary champions from the 19th century. And of course, the greatest of all time, 1948 Leaf, Sugar Ray Robinson. And this actually is a vintage mustard bottle from the 1930s that when you were done with it, you could cut the top open and make a little bank out of it. And that is depicting Joe Louis. A very deep and powerful photograph, a Type 1 photograph of the great Harry Greb. A corner pad signed by the Bronx Bull, the Raging Bull, Jake LaMotta. Go up to my Mike Tyson Punch-Out game that I had signed in person. Signed photo of Carmen Basilio. Another one of Willie Pep. And anybody who's ever seen the Hurricane is gonna know the signature of Reuben, the Hurricane Carter. The greatest of all time, Sugar Ray Robinson. Signed letter. And my favorite of all time, Rocky Marciano. Signed Zeros of Hollywood card. Down here I have some vintage Ring magazines. Every single one of them depicting the great Rocky Marciano. Cool little magazine rack here. 1938, Yankee Stadium, Joe Louis and Max Schmeling. The most epic fight of all time. Have an authentic ticket stub and both their autographs. World War II in the ring. Thomas Johnson versus Isaac Perrins. And these 2 tokens are to commemorate that fight from 1789. You cannot get much further back in time for boxing history than this. Now as we come towards the end, we'll look at some of my Rocky memorabilia. This is a complete set from 1979 of Rocky II. My vintage die-cast Rocky action figure that came out when Rocky III came out. Still in the original packaging. Really cool piece to have. And the last piece is this Rocky original album, original soundtrack. And I also put in there my Stallone autograph card. Well, everyone, that was my collection. I really hope you enjoyed seeing it because I enjoyed showing it off. I love the amazing pieces of history that I have in my collection, and I'm sure if you're a collector, you feel the same way. So everyone, have a great night, and I will see you again next time.